Have you ever noticed the exact moment the air changes? Not just the weather outside your window, but the subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the atmosphere of your own life. That quiet, undeniable whisper telling you that a season is coming to an end. It happens in the stillness of a late afternoon. It happens when you look at someone you have loved for years and realize the bridge between you has quietly washed away. It happens when you walk into the job you fought so hard to secure, only to feel a profound, hollow emptiness echoing in your chest. It happens when you look in the mirror and see the quiet mapping of time etched into the corners of your eyes. We are so profoundly conditioned to fear endings. We are taught from a very young age to hold on, to grip tightly to the people we love, to the identities we have painstakingly built, to the circumstances that make us feel secure. Society tells us that permanence is the ultimate measure of success. If a relationship lasts until death, it is a triumph. If a career spans 4 decades, it is a victory. If we can somehow freeze time, preserve our youth, and lock away our happiness in a vault, we have won the game of life. But the universe does not speak the language of permanence. Look around you. The language of the universe is flow. The language of the universe is transformation. The language of the universe is the falling leaf. When we resist this flow, when we demand that things remain exactly as they are, we are fighting a war we are destined to lose. And this resistance is the root of all our deepest suffering. Psychology teaches us that the human brain is wired for predictability. We crave certainty because certainty feels like safety. Our ancient nervous systems perceive the unknown not as a new adventure, but as a mortal threat. So, we build fortresses out of our expectations. We lay heavy bricks of tomorrow over the fragile, fleeting foundation of today. We sign contracts, we make promises of forever, we try to anchor the ocean, but the ocean cannot be anchored. Think about the physical sensation of holding on to something that is trying to slip away. Feel the tension in your hands. Notice how your knuckles turn white. Notice how your breath becomes shallow, how your chest tightens, how your jaw clenches in a desperate bid for control. This is how most of us live our entire lives, white-knuckling our way through a world that is inherently designed to change. We live in a state of anticipatory grief, terrified of the moment the leaf will finally fall from the branch. But what if we have misunderstood the nature of the fall? What if an ending is not a failure, but a completion? What if the falling leaf is not a tragedy, but a magnificent, necessary dance? Consider the ancient wisdom of the Buddhist master Ajahn Chah. He often taught his students about the illusion of permanence using a simple, profound metaphor. He would hold up a beautiful, delicate glass cup. It was a cup he used every day, a cup that brought him joy, a cup that caught the morning light in a dazzling display of colors. He would look at his students and say, "To me, this cup is already broken. Because I know its fate, I enjoy it fully, here and now. And when it falls from the table and shatters into 1,000 pieces upon the floor, I will say, of course, it was always its nature to break." This is not a philosophy of pessimism. It is the ultimate philosophy of liberation. When you accept that the cup is already broken, you stop gripping it with anxiety. You stop guarding it with a fearful heart. Instead, every single time you drink from it, it becomes a sacred event. Every reflection of light becomes a miracle. You love the cup not because it will last forever, but precisely because it will not. Now, apply this to the life you are living right now. Apply it to the people you love. They are already broken cups. They are borrowed time, given to you by a generous universe, with the absolute guarantee that they will one day return to the earth. Apply it to your career, to your health, to your very breath. When we stop demanding eternity, we can finally begin to experience the profound depth of the present moment. This shift in perspective is the threshold of true emotional maturity. It is the moment we transition from the desperate child wanting the playground to stay open forever to the wise observer who knows that the sunset is beautiful precisely because it fades. The Stoics understood this intimately. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who held unimaginable power, constantly reminded himself of his own insignificance in the river of time. He wrote that all things are ephemeral, both the rememberer and the remembered. He viewed life not as a static possession, but as a grand, passing parade. If you try to stop the parade to hold on to one beautiful float, you miss the rest of the procession, and you get trampled by the relentless march of time. Let us explore a story about a man who tried to stop the parade. Imagine an architect, the most brilliant of his generation. He spent his entire youth searching for the perfect plot of land. He finally found it on a majestic cliff overlooking a vast, tumultuous ocean. Here, he decided to build his masterpiece, a fortress of stone and steel designed to withstand any storm, any hurricane, any test of time. He poured every ounce of his energy, his wealth, and his soul into this house. He sacrificed his relationships, his sleep, and his peace of mind. When the walls are thick enough, he told himself, I will finally be safe. When the roof is impenetrable, I will finally rest. Decades passed. The house was completed, a towering monument to his desire for control and permanence. But the architect forgot one fundamental truth. He had mastered the stone, but he could not master the sea. Beneath his impenetrable fortress, the ocean was quietly, relentlessly doing its work. Wave after wave, day after day, year after year, the cliff was slowly eroding. One evening, during a violent autumn storm, the architect felt the ground shudder. He rushed to his reinforced windows, only to watch in horror as the earth gave way. His masterpiece, his life's work, his fortress of safety, began to slide into the churning abyss. He barely escaped, running out into the freezing rain as the stone cracked and the walls tumbled into the dark waters below. When morning came, the storm had passed. The architect sat in the mud, shivering, staring at the empty space where his house used to be. Everything he had held on to, everything he had defined himself by, was gone. He expected to feel a crushing, unbearable despair. He expected his heart to stop. But as he sat there, covered in the dirt of his ruined plans, something strange happened. The sun began to rise over the unbroken horizon. The light hit his face without being filtered through heavy glass. The morning breeze touched his skin, unobstructed by stone walls. For the first time in 40 years, he felt the true expanse of the sky. And in that devastating emptiness, a profound, undeniable peace bloomed in his chest. He realized that the walls he had built to protect himself had actually been his prison. He had spent his entire life guarding a fortress, and in doing so, he had forgotten how to live in the world. The loss of his life's work was not his destruction. It was his emancipation. How many of us are sitting in a fortress of our own making? How many walls of expectation, of routine, of rigid identity have we built around ourselves to ward off the changing tides? And when those walls inevitably crack, when a relationship ends, when a disease strikes, when a job is lost, we feel like we are dying. But perhaps we are simply being set free. Perhaps the collapse of what we thought was our life is actually the clearing of the ground for what our life is meant to become. This is the great paradox of human existence. We only find true security when we completely surrender the need for it. Let us dive deeper into the anatomy of this surrender. It is not a passive giving up. It is not a defeatist attitude that says nothing matters. Quite the opposite. True surrender requires an immense, almost terrifying amount of courage. It requires you to look directly into the face of your deepest fear, the fear of loss, and gently nod your head. It is the courage to say, I know this will not last, and I will love it with all my heart anyway. There is a Japanese aesthetic philosophy known as wabi-sabi. It is a worldview centered on the acceptance of transience and imperfection. It is the recognition that beauty is not found in the flawless, eternal, and pristine. Beauty is found in the weathered wood, the rusted iron, the frayed edge of a tapestry. It is intertwined with a concept called mano no aware, which translates to the pathos of things. It is a gentle sadness at the transience of things, and a longer, deeper, gentle sadness about the state of being, pointing to the reality of life. Think of the cherry blossoms, the sakura. They bloom for only a fleeting moment in the spring, a few days of breathtaking, delicate pink, and then the wind takes them. If the cherry blossoms bloomed all year round, if they were made of plastic, they would not move us to tears. We would walk right past them. It is precisely their vulnerability, their imminent demise, that makes us stop and stare in awe. Their impermanence is not a flaw in their design. It is the very source of their magic. You are no different. Your life is a fleeting bloom. The phase you are in right now, whether it is a season of joy, a season of struggle, a season of profound loneliness, or a season of vibrant connection, is temporary. It is slipping through your fingers even as you listen to these words. And that is exactly what makes it sacred. If you are currently sitting in the ashes of a painful ending, I want you to listen to me very carefully. The grief you are feeling is real, and it is valid. Do not rush to push it away. Do not try to slap a mask of toxic positivity over a bleeding heart. Grief is just love that has nowhere to go. It is the heavy echo of a profound attachment. But as you sit with this grief, I invite you to slowly, gently change your relationship with the concept of ending. Our modern culture treats grief like a disease to be cured, an interruption to the business of life. But in the grand tapestry of nature, ending is merely the quiet prelude to a new beginning. When a tree drops its leaves in the autumn, it is not dying. It is conserving energy. It is drawing its life force deep into its roots to survive the bitter winter. If the tree stubbornly held onto its dead leaves, the snow would accumulate on them. The weight of the frozen snow would snap the branches, and the tree would perish. The tree survives the winter precisely because it knows how to let go. It sheds what is dead so that it can dream of the spring. What dead leaves are you still desperately clinging to? What old versions of yourself? What toxic relationships? What expired dreams are you refusing to drop? Are you carrying the heavy, frozen weight of the past on branches that are begging for rest? Let it fall. I know it is terrifying. I know the branches feel naked and vulnerable without the leaves, but this nakedness is necessary. It is in this empty, quiet space that the soul does its deepest work of healing. Consider the story of a master weaver. She spent 10 years weaving a magnificent tapestry, a tapestry of her entire life. She wove threads of gold for her triumphs, threads of deep blue for her sorrows, threads of crimson for her passions. It was perfect, a continuous story with no loose ends. But one day, A stray spark from the fireplace landed on the center of the masterpiece. A hole burned right through the middle, destroying the intricate pattern she had spent a decade perfecting. She was devastated. She tried to patch it, trying to recreate the exact pattern that was lost. But the new threads clashed with the old. The scar was obvious, ugly, and disjointed. For months, she sat in her loom room, weeping over the ruined tapestry, unable to weave anything new. An elder from the village came to visit her. He looked at the tapestry, looked at the burn hole, and then looked at the weaver. "Why are you trying to pretend the fire never happened?" he asked softly. "The fire is now part of the story. Do not try to recreate what was lost. Use the hole as the beginning of a new pattern." The weaver sat with these words. Slowly, she unraveled the burnt, jagged edges of the hole. She stopped trying to force the old pattern back into existence. Instead, she began to weave a new design, incorporating the empty space. She wove silver threads around the edges of the void, turning the scar into a gleaming crescent moon. The tapestry was no longer flawless, but it was infinitely more beautiful. It held the depth of destruction and the miracle of resurrection. When we go through profound changes, when our lives burn down, we often try to stitch things back exactly as they were. We want the old normal back. We want the comfort of the familiar pattern. But the fire has already happened. The old pattern is gone, and trying to patch it with denial will only leave an ugly, disjointed scar in your soul. You must have the courage to unravel the burnt edges. You must have the bravery to look at the empty space and say, "This is where my new story begins." This is the true alchemy of the human spirit, turning the void left by loss into the canvas for a new creation. As you embark on this journey of inner transformation, pay attention to the seasons of your soul. Just as the earth cycles through spring, summer, autumn, and winter, so do you. There will be seasons of massive expansion where you are blooming, growing, and reaching for the sun. There will be seasons of vibrant harvest where you are reaping the rewards of your hard work. But there will also be seasons of autumn where you are called to release, to let go, to watch the things you love fall gracefully to the ground. And there will be seasons of deep winter, seasons of quiet, of darkness, of seeming barrenness. During these winters of the soul, society will tell you that you are failing. Your own anxious mind will tell you that you are stuck, that you are lost, that the warmth will never return. But do not mistake the stillness of winter for death. Underneath the frozen soil, deep in the dark, the seeds of your future are silently gathering strength. The winter is doing the unseen, essential work of preparation. You cannot force a seed to sprout in December. You can only trust the cycle. You can only rest. This brings us to the most difficult, yet most liberating practice of all: trust. Trusting the intelligence of the universe. Trusting that whatever is leaving your life is making room for what is meant to arrive. Trusting that the current of the river knows exactly how to reach the ocean, even if it has to violently crash against a few rocks along the way. When you truly surrender to this trust, a profound shift happens in your physical body. Take a deep breath right now. Inhale slowly, deeply into your belly. And as you exhale, intentionally drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Open your hands, letting your palms face the sky. Feel the subtle release of tension, the physical manifestation of letting go. Imagine that whatever you have been desperately gripping in your hands, a person, an outcome, a past version of yourself, is like a pile of dry sand. The tighter you squeeze your fist, the faster the sand slips through your fingers. But if you open your hand, if you let your palm rest flat and relaxed, The sand stays exactly where it belongs. We do not hold on to the things we love by trapping them. We hold on to them by opening our hands and allowing them the freedom to stay or to blow away in the wind. This is the ultimate expression of love. Love for others and love for yourself. To say to the universe, I do not own any of this. I am merely a grateful guest in the house of time. I will sit at the table, I will taste the food, I will laugh with the other guests. And when it is time to leave, I will stand up, push in my chair, and walk out into the night without demanding to take the silver with me. Think about the tremendous energy it takes to resist reality. Think about the exhaustion of constantly swimming upstream, fighting the current of change. What would happen if you simply stopped kicking? What would happen if you flipped onto your back, looked up at the endless sky, and allowed the river to carry you? You would not drown. You would finally begin to float. You would finally experience the peace that passes all understanding. A peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. A peace that is not rooted in having everything perfectly arranged, but a peace that stems from the unshakable knowing that you can handle whatever the river brings. You are not the fragile glass cup waiting to be shattered. You are the vast, empty space in which the cup exists. You are the sky. The clouds of joy, sorrow, gain, and loss drift across you. Sometimes they bring thunderstorms, and sometimes they part to reveal the blinding sun. But the sky itself is never damaged by the storm. The sky is never diminished by the passing of the clouds. It simply observes. It holds it all with infinite grace. Step back into that sky-like nature of your mind. Observe the thoughts of fear, the pangs of attachment, the sorrow of endings. Watch them arise. Linger for a moment, and then dissolve into the ether. They are just passing weather. They are not who you are. You are the eternal observer of your own seasons. So, as the wind picks up and the metaphorical autumn arrives at your doorstep, do not lock the door. Do not board up the windows in terror. Open the door wide. Let the cool wind rush through the dusty corridors of your mind. Let it blow away the dead leaves, the expired beliefs, the heavy attachments. Stand quietly in the center of the storm and witness the majestic beauty of things falling apart. Because in the very act of falling apart, life is secretly, masterfully, gathering the pieces to build you anew. Listen to the quiet bell ringing in the distance. It is the sound of an ending, but if you listen closer, if you let the vibrations settle into your bones, it is also the undeniable sound of a new beginning. Let it fall, let it change, let it go. And in the emptiness that follows, find your ultimate, unshakable peace.